Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Today, super excited to welcome back my friend Matt from Getting Off. Matt, how are you, sir?
Well, Sean, you clipped something from our last episode where I said it doesn't matter how bad the movie is because we're not here to watch good movies. We're just here to talk about inbred cannibals and have some fun.
Absolutely.
Um, I may have been a little premature in stating that, but we'll see where we're at.
Yeah,
Other
we'll
than
see
that,
where
I'm
it
good.
goes. All right, good. And we don't get any inbred Jesus or whatever it was you said last
No, there
time.
was no inbred
We
Jesus.
we don't even get that. Yeah, Matt and I are going through the Wrong Turn franchise, and we are at part three. That's where we're going to pick up at here today. And this has been an interesting franchise. I remember, for some reason, liking this franchise more. The first time I went through some of it, thought there were some good ones, some bad ones. Other than the first one, I'm struggling to find a really good one right now. But we're going to see how
Well,
it
listen, you
goes.
told me you thought it was 4 or 5. So the next one we do, you may change your tune.
Yeah,
I think Wrong Turn is very apropos name for this franchise because, as you said, every time we finish a movie, we get to the next one, it feels like we went the wrong way with
yeah,
it.
100%. It's a good way to put it. Good way to put it. I do think I like four. Now it's been a long time. For some reason, I think I like four. So I'm either going to watch it and be incredibly disappointed and pissed off at myself for going through this franchise, or I'm going to watch it and think, all right, okay, we got a couple of good ones in here. But yeah, we'll jump into Wrong Turn 3 and see how this one turns out. Before we do, though, take a minute, Matt, to go ahead and talk about Getting Off, talk about Creation World, and anything you may have coming up there.
If you guys missed the last 2 episodes and have no idea who I am, hi, I'm the Warden Matt Ritter, the patron saint of the perverse and host of the Getting Off podcast, along with my co-host Katie and occasional co-hosts Reek and Juss and all the awesome guests we have, including Sean. We do a variety of different things. Our next episode, which will be available live this Sunday after you watch this video, we're actually breaking down a album. We're gonna have some friends on to talk about Ice Nine Kills album, The Silver Scream, The Final Cut. So it's 19 tracks. We're going to break them down. Every song is about a different horror movie. And we're all going to have different criteria because I got a group of very diverse people to come talk about this. Some are horror fans, some aren't. Some are metal fans, some aren't. So on and so forth. Then me and Katie love both. And but have very different criteria for why we enjoy certain songs and why we don't. So it's going to be a really interesting review. Come join us for that. If that's not your thing, there's always Trick or Trivia, which is right around the corner. We're going to find out who will redeem themselves from the people who did not win the last 2 episodes. We will have one more winner who will face off against Sean and Reek and Kelly in our finals at the end of the year to determine this year's Trick or Trivia champion. Sean has already qualified, and if you haven't seen that, go check that episode out. I also had Kelly and Sarah on, and we ran through, well, me, Kelly, and Eric, Sarah's husband, Kelly's brother, did the first 4 Alien movies, and then Sarah joined us for Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and Alien Romulus. So that is also available and out. Or you could just tune in for a Katie Horror Showcase where I make Katie watch a horror movie she's never seen and see if she likes it or hates it. It's a 50-50 shot every time. And the last one we did was Puppet Master. So, yeah, no, those are all a good time. It's a variety show you guys can come check out. And then if horror isn't really your thing, there's always the Creatia conversation. You guys can join us on Thursdays live. Me, Travis, and Mara sit down. And recently we've all started going in order, Travis, Mara, and then me. We each pick a movie and then sit down and we review it. It has to be 10 years or older. See if the movie still holds up, how we feel about it. I'm trying to pick movies that either Travis or Mara have not seen, so they see them for their first time. The last one is my favorite movie of all time. Well, the last one not counting the one that came out on Thursday, which was Tombstone from 1993.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We Mara had never seen that. I had grown up in love with it. Travis's mom, it's her favorite movie, so me and his mom bonded over that as we were growing up together. So yeah, we reviewed that, and then yeah, the most recent episode was Cool Runnings, which is a fantastic fucking movie and was so fun to talk about. So
Very cool.
yeah, all of that is available over at Creation World. You can come check us out. I would appreciate it. And you can follow me everywhere, find links for all of that Linktree/getting off. It's all there.
Very nice. Yes, definitely go check out Creatia World. Go check out Getting Off. Always great stuff on there. Very entertaining as well as informative. And I wanted to say too, I like the background that you got set up back there. That's looking pretty cool. That's different than the last time you were on.
So, I'll send you a picture, but I moved my basement around, but all I did with this space was I turned my desk around. So this is actually everything that was behind my desk for
Okay.
the most part. I added a couple things in here for aesthetic pieces that were out there, but yeah, no, this is just the Jason masks, and then you can't really see it, but there's a case up there that has a machete.
Okay.
All of that
Nice.
was stuff I was looking at as I was talking to your beautiful face. And I thought people might want to see that more than the chair and the table that I build Legos at. So I turned the desk around. And now
Nice.
here we are. And
Yeah,
I got in the
it's cool.
recliner, which is so much more comfortable than my
much
gaming
more
chair.
comfortable. I bet. Nice. Well, it looks cool. Yes. All right. Go check out Matt. Follow on all the social media stuff. Always good stuff. So entertaining. Let's get into Wrong Turn 3 to Left 4 Dead. So
We
quickly,
have to.
we'll make it quick if we need to. Tagline for this film: What you don't see will kill you. Brief synopsis: A group of people find themselves trapped in the backwoods of West Virginia, fighting for their lives against a group of vicious and horribly disfigured inbred cannibals. Sounds like the same tagline and synopsis for Wrong Turn 2. I don't know whether it is or not. The film was released October 20th of 2009, directed by Declan O'Brien, distributed by 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. 92-minute runtime, $2 million budget, no box office numbers. A couple of members of the cast: Tom Frederick, Janet Montgomery, Tom McKay, Tamer Hassan, and Gil Corlin. We'll stop there. And Matt, give me your thoughts on cast and characters.
First and foremost, that's a terrible synopsis. Because I feel like,
No.
while theoretically that is what happened, like you're missing a couple key details that would really separate this movie from Wrong Turn 2.
Agreed.
I knew absolutely nobody in the cast, had never seen them before. This very much felt like a straight to DVD horror movie. From the CGI to the over the top acting to the extreme stereotypes, and just this was not good.
That's fair.
And the thing we came for, which was inbred cannibals, we barely got any.
Yeah.
We are slowly shrinking, I feel like, the number of inbred cannibals, and now we're down to 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we got there. But I do know that we fixed that. Maybe we make a right turn towards more inbred cannibals later, because that's what we're fucking here for, is the inbred cannibals. Absolutely. And the kills. And no, like, the acting was terrible, especially in the beginning with the drugs and the topless girls sunbathing who had to let the girls breathe.
Yeah.
And then the slut shaming and all of just the opening was... Right.
Although that may have been the highlight of the movie.
It may have been the highlight of the movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Yeah, I'm with you 100%, and that's what I kept thinking throughout this film. This is some of the worst acting I've seen. This is terrible. The only person that I thought might have even been halfway decent was the guy who played Chavez, and even he wasn't great. He was very over the top. But yeah, this was some terrible acting that really hurt. We'll get into some of that here in a few minutes about the inbred cannibals, which we do go back to 3 in Wrong Turn 4. We got 3 in 4, and it's, if I remember correctly, the 3 in 4 are the same 3 from the first one, because it's Bloody Beginnings, so it's supposed to be having these 3 start. But yeah, I agree with you. None of these characters, even I think the characters that you're supposed to like, are not very likable.
No.
Just a lot of bad.
And it's weird because there's a lot of, like, extra context and backstories for characters that don't really matter.
Right.
Like, did I need to know it was the dude's last day on the job? Did I need to know the other guy was in the military? Like, all of these extra side story bits of information, him being from a small town, like this whole build up for a character that ultimately doesn't carry over to the next movie.
Right.
didn't really matter in the outcome of the film. It didn't save them or
Right.
add anything. So like it was just very weird. It was a weird experience.
I completely agree. Yeah, very, very disappointing. And I've said before, and you were talking about it. What you're here for is to see the inbreds and them killing people. Um, but it does help. I've said this in other, when you talk about the big time slashers, Friday the 13th, Halloween, this kind of stuff. It helps if there's a character or two that I like a little bit. I'm there to watch Jason kill people. I'm there to watch Michael kill people, like whoever. But it does help if there's at least one or two characters that I kind of can get behind. Here, not only do we not get that many inbred cannibals, the characters suck, and it's frustrating. And even our main girl in here, and I draw a blank on her name, but I'll see it.
Alex. Wasn't it
Alex.
Alex?
Yeah, it was Alex. You're correct. Uh, I think you're supposed to maybe be pulling for her over even any of the rest of them. I guess she's okay.
But they also don't give her anything like
Yeah.
they gave the prison guard all that backstory and all these connections and shit. They gave the military prisoner this sad story, and then she's just like, my friends died in the beginning of the movie, and I've just been out here trying to make it, and now I run afoul of. We'll get into who's out in the woods with her. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to spoil too much.
No, that's fine. Do you like this story? I mean, again, it's inbred cannibals, right? But do you like the idea of us bringing in the escaped convicts for them to be after instead of just a group that's out there, or doesn't really do anything for you?
The concept is interesting. Like when the opening scene ended and we cut to a prison, I was like, all right, what the fuck are we doing here? I know I've seen this before, but I didn't remember anything from this movie. It felt like I was watching it for the first time. Okay. And I was like, okay, what is this about? What are we doing here? Why are we in a prison? And then I'm like, okay, this kind of feels like See No Evil a little bit.
Yeah.
With, the kids from the detention center going to go clean up or whatever, but it was a prison transfer. And then again, there was this whole thing with like this racist arsonist that looked like Timu Cyrus the Virus from Con Air, right?
Yes.
Making a drug deal with Chavez and they had this whole deal set up for like a prison break, and then things got moved and the people never showed up. Like he said he got the word out, but like their people never showed up. I was waiting the entire time for these gang members or whoever to like show up and fight the inbred cannibals, and like that never happened. I'm like, why did we set up this whole story of like a prison breakout and say, oh, I got the word out, it's still gonna happen, when nobody fucking showed up? Like,
yeah, I agree. I don't know if they forgot that or what, because there's even a point, I think even like halfway through the movie, he's telling the guys like, my people will come, like they're gonna find us. But that's the last time nothing happened. Yeah, it never occurs. So I don't know what happened with that storyline as well to make it completely disappear. But
cool concept, poor execution.
Yeah, completely agree. And I agree with you. I think the concept was a good idea, but the performances were so bad. Things were just over the top, and like you said.
You know what?
Poor concept, Sean? Poor execution.
You know what I did enjoy? The use of the tow truck and the barbed wire hanging off of the tow truck. They used it a lot in this movie. Yeah. There were a couple cool scenes. One when they crashed the bus, which him getting in front of it and dropping it down and then catching the tire and then he used it as a trap later.
Right.
Those were really cool. Like that I appreciated. I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is something that you don't see in a lot of horror movies, right? Like almost ever. So like this is new, this is cool, this is interesting. But there wasn't enough of that to be like, this was a fun movie.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Let me mention real quick a couple of behind the scenes things, and then we'll get into the plot. So Wrong Turn 3 has the highest amount of kills of any film in the franchise.
Doesn't feel like it.
It really doesn't. I agree 100%. When I read that, I was like, wow, okay. Maybe just because I didn't care about anybody that was getting killed, but that's fine. Eliza Dushku was once rumored to return and reprise her role after admitting in an interview that she would like to return to the franchise. Apparently that was all just a rumor. Never did happen. Not saying that could have saved this movie, but it would have helped. We all know my opinion after talking about the first film. So it would have helped had she been in there. It would have given me something to enjoy.
I feel like if they had gotten her, they would have had to up the budget from, what is it, $2 million?
Yes, 2 million.
Yeah, I read your notes. I paid attention.
I
I
appreciate
studied
that.
for class. No, they would have had to up the budget, and we probably would have got a better movie just to have her in it.
Yeah, it probably would have been a lot different all the way around. I'm sure. So that was somebody dropped the ball. They should have made it happen. And then, as Matt and I have already referred to, this features the least amount of mutants of any of the films, as actually only two appear on screen. Now, I almost want to debate that because there is a third at the end of the movie, but you barely see him for like a second. So I guess that's fine that the two appear on screen.
Is it a third though, or is it just three fingers?
I I think it's a third, and the reason I think so is because I thought they actually did kill Three Finger. Maybe they didn't, but we also don't get his laugh. And
I was gonna say
normally,
you. We also thought they killed him in one, and then he was back in two, and he
in
had a
two,
baby and shit,
yeah,
feeding it that weird
right,
baby bottle with the mutated
yes,
water and shit.
yeah.
And then he was
Which
here again.
it could have been Three Finger. The other reason I don't think so is typically, when he kills somebody, we get his weird ass laugh and stuff that he does going on, and we don't hear that at the end
Yeah.
of this film. But I don't know, maybe it was him after
Fuck
he
the end of
maybe
this movie,
was
by the
tired of
way.
laughing. I completely agree as well. We'll get there. All right. So we opened this film up with four people who are doing some rafting. They end up setting up a campsite and they're going to hang out there a little bit. And Three Finger starts taking them out. We get a girl that gets shot with an arrow first through one of her boobs and then through the eye.
Hold on,
We
Sean. Hold on.
Yes. Go ahead.
So, this scene, right?
Yes.
This opening scene, they get done rafting. They're sitting there. They're stripping down out of their rafting gear. The girls are in their bathing suits. The one girl takes her top off. She's like, "Oh yeah, you just love to show off." And she's like, "Oh, I had to let the girls breathe." Blah blah blah. Her boyfriend comes back. The other girl leaves to go find her boyfriend, who's off getting wood. Her boyfriend apparently is also getting wood. They kind of start messing around. She's like, she thinks I'm a slut, and he goes, I think you're a slut too, but I like that. She goes, oh, I thought you liked my boobs. He goes, I love those. I could hold on to them forever. Then you get the arrow through the back and through his hand because he
Yes.
has to now hold on to them forever.
Right.
Then you get the arrow through the eye, which honestly is probably the best kill in the movie, and it's the first one you get.
Yeah, it's a good one. I completely agree. Yeah, I didn't mind this kill, and even this opening. Well, I don't think this is fantastic. I mean, there's another guy that gets like a spear through his mouth. It looks
Deep throated
terrible.
that spear.
He did. He really did. The second guy that gets killed when he gets like split in thirds looks horrible. The
Oh
effects
yeah,
look so bad.
the CGI on what I called the spring trap kill because I didn't know what else to
Yeah,
call it.
uh,
Yeah, where you get sliced in thirds. It looks so bad.
it does. It looks
So
terrible.
bad.
And then the remaining girl, who we find out is her name is Alex, she ends up escaping. Uh, The opening, compared to the rest of this movie, the opening is not bad. That one kill looks horrible, but the rest of it's okay. It's not a terrible opening.
But compared to the other two movies and their openings,
This is bad.
we didn't get someone cut in half and then dragged
Dragged, right?
apart. Like, that was a really cool fucking way to open the movie.
Yeah,
As much
yeah,
as you can say what you want about two, but two had an awesome fucking opening.
it did.
This was okay. It started out fine, then you got the spring trap kill, and like you said, maybe it's sitting down with 2026 eyes as opposed to what we got back then for CGI. Maybe
Yeah,
this would have looked a lot better back then, but we're looking at it with 2026 eyes, and that looked fucking awful, and it kind of deflated the whole thing a little bit. Plus, you immediately jump cut to the fucking prison. Like,
yes,
no, nothing. It's just like spring trap kill, prison yard.
yeah, yeah. We do. We cut immediately to the prison, and we find out that there's some prisoners being transferred. Primarily, this one guy named Chavez. We find out about this possible prison break. We've got like 3 guards that are going with them. There's also a U.S. Marshal that's undercover as a prisoner. Um, yeah, go ahead. Why?
You have like Tibu Cyrus the Virus, who
Yes.
they make a comment about him like being a firebug, but is also like a member of the Aryan Party.
Yeah.
Is made a deal with Chavez for a break. They have a federal agent, which again, side story, federal agent who's there to sting operation this prison break, which is why they moved it along because he's there to talk to Chavez and get information from Chavez and buddy up to him. Then you've got the other prison guard on his last day who's getting stuck on this transfer duty, doesn't
Yeah.
want to be a part of it. And then one of the other people getting transferred, because luckily, when they decided to move the transfer, they also transferred the guy that was supposed to help Chavez break out. They didn't
Right.
just,
Just yeah,
slot him in with someone else.
yeah,
There's a soldier who apparently got locked up for getting into a bar fight, shoving a guy who hit his head and died. And now he's like,
yes,
I'm not a murderer. That was unintentional. I got a bum rap, blah, 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 blah. And
right.
you feel for the guy up 99% of the movie
Yeah,
because of that. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
he is this decent dude. And then they ruin it. Neither here nor there. Just like I said, weird amalgamation of stories for the prisoners and one of the guards, but not the final girl, who,
right.
again, is just this girl who's out in the woods trying to survive after her friends got killed. No
Yeah,
backstory, no information, no, like, anything to make us care about her, but, like, you got to feel bad for this prison guard because it's his last day, and this poor
yeah,
soldier who got a bum rap.
right. Yeah, I agree with you. They try to give us some backstory for each one of these people that's going to be on the bus, and 5 minutes later, I did not care about any of them. I mean, even the undercover guy. I mean, yeah, they do try for quite some time to paint him as a good guy. There are moments throughout the film where I'm like, okay, he's cool, but for the most part, I didn't care about anybody getting on this bus at all.
There are also moments where he's a terrible fucking person, like when they
This is
stop at the
true.
Podunk Police Department, and that
Yeah,
the one creepy dude that we haven't even talked about, who's
yeah,
also part of the prison transport, is hitting on the female officer, and she puts
right.
him in his place, and then he like winks and blows her a kiss, and it's like, listen, I understand you're undercover, but you're also still a federal agent. You don't have to be a fucking creep. Nobody was watching. That was just
Right.
unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree completely. As they get on this bus and we're headed out, then of course we do get Three Finger. Well, they stop, like you said. I almost forgot that part because it's almost pointless as well. They stop at a sheriff's station. We get a little bit of interaction there. We meet Sheriff Carver and Deputy Lane. We kind of think maybe Deputy Lane's a badass. We're not sure. But Sheriff Carver's just funny old sheriff guy. Like, he doesn't really seem like he's going to be able to do much, but that's okay. They stop to use the bathroom, I think is why they're there. But once they get back on the bus, Three Finger is following the bus. He ends up ramming into it a few times, and then, as you said earlier, uses his wire. It gets wrapped around the tire when he drops it there, causing the bus to crash. Cool scene. I like this scene. The rest of what was going on here, I didn't care about and found myself a little bit bored. But I did like this scene enough that it piqued up my interest, and I was thinking at the time, okay, maybe now we're going to get somewhere. Now something's going to happen. Um, Anything else about this scene that you haven't already mentioned?
It just so happens that our final boy, our deputy or our prison transport guard, grew up in this tiny town that they drive through
Yes.
and stop at the police station to see the sheriff that he knew from when he grew up, so that we can get the backstory of how he grew up and he knows the area and all of this. But apparently, no one who's grown up and knows this area is aware of the inbred cannibals in the fucking woods.
Right.
There's no like, the sheriff doesn't warn anybody, hey, while you're out there, like, they're out there killing and eating people. And I feel like it's not a secret at this point, right? Like,
No, yeah, it's not, because we get to something later that ties this one to the first film. So they've got to know. Like, you have to know what's going on.
there's no like, hey, make sure you stay out of the woods or
Yeah.
watch out for blah, blah, blah. And he's driving a fucking tow truck around. So he's got, access to the road. He's around. You can fucking find him. Like,
Right. No, I'm with you 100%. As the bus ends up crashing, the prisoners are then able to kind of take the guards hostage here a little bit. It doesn't take long, though, before Three Finger, like, he throws a knife and kills one of the guards, the older guard that's there. He's also shooting some arrows, and so now everybody knows that there's someone out there after them. As they take off through the woods is when they find Alex. We get her talking about her friends being killed and the Three Fingers out there stalking them. The prisoners seem somewhat concerned, but not overly concerned yet either. We come across this abandoned armored truck. Don't know how long that had been there. Where we get
because why not add a bank heist into this as well?
Yes, yeah,
Like,
that's what we needed.
There's not enough going on. Hey, let's find an armored truck full of money and throw that in as well.
Yeah, because nobody would have been out looking for that and found that either with everything that was going on.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
They're not looking for missing people. They're definitely not looking for missing money.
No, absolutely. The prisoners decide they're going to take this cash with them. Chavez, the good guy guard there, I'm drawing a blank on his, Brandon, I believe is his. No, Brandon is the Nate. That's the guy. Nate is the primary guy there for a little bit.
Yes.
He gives the one guard a gun, but then it doesn't go off, and so Chavez ends up killing him. And then we get three toes. So not only do we have three fingers, but we get three toes. The other mutant that's out there, from trying to read something about this movie, is supposedly is a nephew of Three Finger. He ends up attacking them, but Chavez shoots and kills him, and they behead him and leave his head behind for Three Finger to find it. Any thoughts here, or was this all just more bullshit?
I mean, it was more bullshit, but like,
Yeah.
you're trying to escape with money. You're on a time clock, but you take the time to cut this inbred cannibal's head off and mount it on a spike.
Yes.
Like, they set a trap. Like, I don't see the logic in taking the time to do that. Like, did you think, was the thought process, oh, we'll scare the other one away if you, because I don't think you understand what the fuck's going on or what Alex told you was happening in these woods and what she saw. I was under the impression that Three Toes was Three Fingers' kid, the way he reacted when he found him. I guess you would also react that way to finding a dead nephew if you were close to your nephew, which it seems like they were. They were out trapping and shit. But like, in my headcanon, I wanted to believe like Three Toes was the baby that we saw in 2, all grown up. Or
which would make sense.
A teenager at that point. Was my that's where I wanted to go. And I feel like that's what they should have done instead of say whatever weird nephew bullshit. Because like, I have 3 fingers, he has 3 toes. We're related. Like, it makes sense.
No,
you know?
Makes sense. Yeah, and I think
genetics.
I think they were trying to deter Three Finger from coming after them anymore, but it just I'm with you. The whole plan doesn't make any sense, and I felt like this movie just had way too much going on. It just kept doing little extra shit that didn't really work.
So my thought process is these are prisoners, right?
Right.
Okay, so these are bad men. These are murderers. These are violent men. If you found your nephew's head on a stake, would you then turn around as a murderer and not seek revenge? Or would you be pissed off and go to the ends of the earth to seek revenge? That's exactly what you would do. So why do you think that these inbred cannibals in the woods who are hunting and killing and eating people would all of a sudden just be like afraid of this and not have the same violent reaction that you violent people have?
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. It doesn't make sense for them to do what they did. And, you know, even these, again, with the exception of Chavez, these guys are all supposed to be, you know, these badass, scary prisoners. None of these guys really concern me, to be honest with you. I don't find any of them scary. Chavez is kind of unhinged, so he might bother me a little bit, but the rest of them, I really don't think are that big a deal. But that's just...
Well, to be fair, one is the guy that they made us feel bad for. One is obviously this wimpy, nerdy dude who has no business being there. One is a federal agent playing. So it's really the only two to be concerned with are Chavez and whoever fucking Timu Cyrus Virus was.
Yes. Correct. You keep calling him that. All right. So they come across another trap who ends up cutting off another one of the guy's faces there. But here's where they find Three Fingers' truck. One of the guys is kind of the silly
comic relief.
There. Yeah, I think that's what he's supposed to be, but he's not funny.
No.
He goes to, they basically like force him to go try and to get the truck, but we do get that razor wire trap that you were talking about where it wraps him up, and then Three Finger ends up taking off and driving with him. And then at one point, which I actually thought this did look good. I like that kill. I like the razor wire being wrapped around him. That looks pretty good, and I think looks pretty painful. And then when he's just driving along and the guy's just bouncing along the road while he's all wrapped up in the razor wire, I didn't mind that too much either. I thought those were okay.
Yeah, no, like I said, the razor wire trap on the back of the tow truck was actually really cool. But also, why the fuck would you think that he just left his truck running, sitting there, and he's not in it? Like, that you were going to get it and get away. And also, where was everyone going to sit? It's a fucking tow truck. I'm pretty sure it's a 2-seater. Where are you putting all the money and all the people?
Yeah. Yeah, not thought out. They weren't thinking out their plan. Um, yeah, so we get that the sheriff he's out. Well, first we get a fight between Floyd. That's the Timu Cyrus that you keep talking about. His name is Floyd. He and Chavez end up getting into a fight, so we get to watch them go at it for a little bit. The sheriff he finds the bus and ends up calling in the marshals. We also get a brief scene where the deputy that we saw earlier is out looking around, and we kind of get the impression that somebody's watching her, but we don't really see anything happen. Uh, while Chavez and Floyd are fighting, Nate and Alex take off running, but Chavez is able to catch them. Um, and then they come across, and this is what I was talking about earlier, the tie into the first film. They come across this watchtower. This is where Nate was leading them, and this watchtower has been burned down. Again, from what little bit of behind the scenes stuff I was looking at, this is supposed to be the watchtower from the first film. So if this is the watchtower from the first film, and it's burned down because we do know that it got set on fire, again, you would think that people knew something was going on because also a couple of, at least one, I feel like two, no, it's two police officers get killed in the first movie. So
Yep.
we've got a watchtower burned down and two police officers killed, and yet no one is aware that these mutant cannibals are out there. Yeah, we kind of covered that already. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. And honestly, I didn't have that little behind the scenes, and that didn't even tick off in my mind like it should have, because I love lore. So I
Right.
should have been like, oh yeah, the watchtower from the first one where they jumped out the window and then they were in the
Yeah.
trees running around. Like
Yeah.
that was one of the more fun parts of the movie.
Right.
Did not even click until you said that. This is also where we find like Nate has been having them walk in circles,
Yes.
trying to avoid the watchtower where the radio is supposed to be.
Right.
And Alex is like, eventually, like, I'm not stupid. I noticed that that's the same tree we passed like 6 times. Chavez is going to figure it out eventually
Yeah.
and be sick of this shit. What are you going to do? And he's like, I'm just trying to buy time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, man. The sheriff does end up coming across. He ends up finding the group, but Three Finger kills him. Floyd, they had set the bags down previously as well, and then we're going to go back and get them. Floyd ends up finding the bags and tries to take off, but as he comes across the river, and he's got Chavez chasing him, Three Finger also shows up, ends up throwing a Molotov cocktail, which sets Floyd on fire and starts burning up the money, which sends Chavez over the edge. He tries to sacrifice Alex. He basically gives her the Three Finger, hoping that will cause Three Finger to leave them alone. He takes off with Alex. So Timu Cyrus is dead now. Sheriff is dead. Money's all on fire. At this point in the film, has it gotten any better, or were you still just kind of struggling along?
I enjoy the fact that a guy that we briefly mentioned was an arsonist died by fire.
Right? Kind of cool.
That was fun. I get the logic. Like, hey, maybe this guy's just chasing us because he wants this girl because she was part of the party that he attacked. So take her and leave us the fuck alone. Like that actually makes logical sense. Like,
right.
Take her so we can go away. Is thinking this is why they're chasing us. So I get that logic. There's still plenty of fucking money. I don't know why he's so upset about the burned money. There's still plenty of fucking money. Those 2 bags ain't gonna kill you.
No. And they know that there's more back in the truck, which we'll get to later. But I'm with you. It makes more sense than killing the nephew to try to deter things. It makes a little more sense. It was one of the only intelligent things that Chavez kind of did here. I couldn't stand the Floyd guy, so I was glad he got killed. But as we're getting close now to the end of the film, I'm watching this and I'm trying so hard to find something about it because there's a couple of things that I like here and there, a couple of decent things, but overall I was really like, man, this one needs to be over. Like, I'm ready to wrap this movie up. This is a short runtime and it feels like it's going longer than that. It's kind of the way I felt about it. Brandon, the military guy there, he ends up knocking out Chavez, so we're really thinking now that we're behind him and like him. He's going to take off apparently, and Nate goes to find Alex. He gets to the cabin. Alex is there in the cabin. We also see Deputy Lane. She's also tied up in some razor wire over there. Chavez shows up. He and Three Finger end up getting to a fight outside. decent fight scene, I guess, before Chavez ends up getting killed and Three Fingers like starts eating some of his brain. Um, Nate shows up and is able to free Alex before Three Finger attacks them. At one point, they think they've killed him, but he's back. He shows up on their vehicle when they're trying to drive away, and now they crash the truck. Uh, Truck's on fire. Brandon shows up and is able to save Nate and Alex from the burning truck, and then Nate is finally able to kill Three Finger with the hook through the head there. And as the marshals start to arrive, they let Brandon go. We've got almost a finale here. Like the movie's almost over. We think Three Fingers dead. Chavez has finally been killed. What do you think of this almost final act?
The more we talk about this movie, maybe I do like the ending because of how bad the rest of the movie was. And it was something different and interesting. I don't know now. I don't. So like, they tell Brandon to leave, right?
Right.
And say, "Oh, you died." Like,
yeah.
Where the fuck is he gonna go? What is he gonna do? If he's declared dead, like, you're either an escaped convict or you're a dead convict, and he's not like at least up until this point, he's not a real convict who has like connections to get a fake ID and all of this information to like start a new life. So where the fuck is he gonna go?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Doesn't even have the money to go start a new life. Like, he's just got what's on him. So I'm like, that seemed kind of... The fight was cool, I will say, for all the bad CGI, especially the Springtrap kill and the face slice, which were really bad CGI. At least Chavez's death and the brain eating wasn't like terrible CGI. So
yeah, it didn't look terrible. I agree.
Yeah, like that was... I'm like, okay, cool. All right, fine. That's decent. But yeah, no, like the whole ending up to this point, overbooked, just like the rest of the movie. Like, that is the downfall of this movie, is they try to do too much too often.
Yeah.
If they had kept it a lot more simple and spent that money on better actors and better CGI than all of the extra bullshit, they probably could have made a better movie.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think overbooked, I didn't think of that word, but I think that's a great way to put it, because there's too much going on and the performances are too bad. And it just doesn't really, it doesn't do anything for me. As we get to our actual finale now, sometime later, Nate ends up going back to the armored car to get some more of the cash. And, I guess at one point we thought maybe he and Alex might be together, but it certainly doesn't sound like it now, because he's talking about, going off and drinking and women and that kind of thing. So apparently their relationship didn't work. He's going to get the rest of this money to take off. But Brandon, the military guy, ends up appearing, and he's not such a good guy after all, because he ends up killing Nate. The first time I watched this, I was like, what the fuck? What just happened here? Totally caught me off guard. I had forgot about it for this movie until it started, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now we get this bullshit. Is there anything about, before we get to the next step, anything about this that you like at all? Nate going back to get the money and then Brandon killing him?
Well, like I said, it's different, right?
Yeah.
It's a very different ending. You do all of this, you build Brandon up to be the hero. By the end of the movie, he's set free, and then he comes back and he kills Nate, who came back for money because he wanted to go down to the beach and be surrounded by naked women, which is something Walter had mentioned. Shout out to Walter. And then he gets killed, and then you hear him say, "I told you to never trust a convict." So then it's like, now it's got me questioning, was he really innocent like they believed and like he convinced everybody of? Or is he really a piece of shit? I'm leaning towards he actually was a piece of shit, and maybe he killed that guy on purpose.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
And it's all a front, which isn't interesting. If it wasn't such a bad movie, it would be a very interesting twist, but it would be an interesting twist earlier in the movie as a part of character development to get us to the end.
Right. No, I
not at
agree.
The end of the movie, and then one more thing happens, and then roll credits.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's something that, like you just said, had the movie been better, I would have been like, oh, that was different. Didn't see that coming. That was pretty cool. But with the movie kind of being shit, I see this and I'm like, okay, now we're just going to put more shit on top of it. So it just doesn't
more
work.
Overbooked crap. It's like watching 1998 WWF, where the end of a fucking wrestling match, everyone and their mother comes in because the ref's
Yes.
knocked out, and they're
Yes.
throwing everything at the fucking wall. That's what this
Yeah.
was.
I agree. Yeah, it just gets chaotic. But we're not done yet because as Brandon starts gathering the money together, we see some other mutant hillbilly step up behind him. We really only see his legs, and then as the screen goes to black, we hear Brandon screaming, so we know that he's now been killed. This is either Three Fingers still alive, or there has been another one this whole time that just wasn't doing anything during the rest of the film. Um, just make it any better, or you're just glad it's over?
I'm just glad it's over at this point
Yeah.
because, again, like I said, overbooked nonsense. Like,
Yeah.
Stone Cold came in, dropped a stunner, and then The Rock came in and hit a rock bottom, and then The Undertaker came in and hit a tombstone. Now here's Kane with a choke slam, and
Yes.
DX is on the way to the ring, and it's like, all right, enough has happened. Can we just ring the bell
Yeah.
and end the match?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at, and we did, and it's over. We don't find out who the killer is, like you said. There's no laugh to be like, because like I could buy, because he is an inbred cannibal, that due to being inbred and being deformed, some of his organs and vital bits and pieces aren't where they're supposed to be. So maybe he could survive something like,
Sure.
that and
Yeah.
walk away because he's special,
Yeah.
because he's different.
Yeah.
I know Three Fingers was your favorite character in the first movie.
In the first movie.
I don't know if he'd be inbred Jesus of the Wrong Turn franchise, but if he was inbred Jesus, he rose from the dead
Yes.
and came back to avenge the sins that were committed against his brethren. I
appreciate you
despite
trying
the
to put
fact-
that spin on it. It didn't help.
It didn't. It really. I'm just.
You're trying, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the effort. It still bothers me that I did mention that I liked the Three Finger character in the first film. I was so annoyed that he didn't look the same in the second film, and he doesn't look the same here either. So I've lost interest in Three Finger by this point as well.
Well, maybe he'll look better in number 4,
He's
but
younger.
a little younger.
Yeah,
but a little younger.
He's younger. I do remember that. I'm looking forward to 4. I hope that it still holds up because I remember really having fun with it when I saw it the first time. Part of the fact is it takes place on the snow, and I'm a sucker for horror in the snow. I do like that, so that's there. I think there's some better characters in it as well, so I'm hoping it holds up and I still enjoy it, and I hope you like it as well because once Matt came on with me and we talked about the original Night of the Living Dead, and then we got into this Wrong Turn franchise, and Matt's a great guy. I plan on having Matt back even after we finish Wrong Turn.
Thanks.
But by the time we finish Wrong Turn, Matt might be deleting me from social media and blocking me for making me watch this bullshit. So I'm hoping that he will enjoy the next one.
I picked this franchise. I was given 2 options. I chose this franchise. I'm not holding that against you. And I also remembered liking this franchise a lot more than I have. And my biggest issue with this franchise so far, 3 movies in, we always say over at Getting Off, we're lore whores, right? There is no lore here, 3 movies in.
Yeah.
We kind of sort of started establishing lore in 2 with the sawmill and the water and all of this and like the family and all that. And then we just completely abandoned and ignored that in 3. 4 is going to be a prequel to 1. Right. So we'll see if any of the lore from 2 is mixed in there, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because the way this franchise is going is it just seems like, all right, we had 1. 1 was great. Here's 2. 2 didn't do so good. So we're going to change direction. In 3, we're just going to focus on everyone's fan favorite, Three Fingers, and maybe throw in another one just because we can't have one inbred mutant. And we're going to make it really fucking weird and just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, and nothing fucking stuck. So they're like, all right, kind of like with the Halloween franchise, where it's like they did 1, they did 2, 3 came along. A lot of people were upset that 3 didn't have Michael Myers, so they're like, we got to go back to Michael Myers. Now we got to go back to the original 3 in part 4, but we're going to do it as a prequel and see how they came up. Bloody Beginnings.
Yeah.
Also, it was called Left 4 Dead, and I don't understand why it was. Who was Left 4 Dead?
Yeah, good question. No idea. I wondered that as well. I didn't think about that until after I watched the movie and I was putting my notes together to send to you. Um, and when I was typing up my notes, I'm like, who was Left 4 Dead? Like, I really don't think anybody was Left 4 Dead.
Well,
Like,
because
yeah,
Wrong Turn 2 was what? Dead End.
Dead End. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
also,
Yeah,
there was no dead end in that movie.
there wasn't.
So,
Yeah, I don't know where the subtitles are coming from. They're not good.
no, just
The
whatever
next one's
sounds
better.
good.
Bloody Beginnings makes sense when you watch the next one.
Yeah, and then 5 is Bloodlines,
Yeah.
and 6 is Last Resort. So, we'll see.
5, the only thing I remember about 5 is I believe Doug Bradley's in it. I think. I think Doug Bradley is in 5. Uh, Last Resort, I feel like has a lot more nudity. If I remember correctly, there's some craziness going on there. And then
Yeah.
one that we haven't mentioned yet is the. Have you seen the remake that came out?
I have.
Okay, that movie pissed me off. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so I understand why it pissed you off. I get that. I get that. I get that. And it's 47 minutes and we got time to bullshit. So
Oh, absolutely.
I have an opinion on that I'd like to hear your thoughts on, right?
Okay.
I'm going to take my glasses off for this.
Oh, we're getting serious.
So there are, in my mind, 3 remakes that do this. And originally, that Wrong Turn remake made me mad too. Because it had nothing to do with inbred cannibals. And I'm like, I came for inbred cannibals and I did not get inbred cannibals. We got something different. Now, 2013's Evil Dead, which, if you guys have ever spoken to me about horror movies, you know that is my favorite horror movie. Also, a remake that isn't really a remake of the original.
Right.
Very different. And then the Child's Play remake. A lot of people hated that. Okay,
Yes.
hold on. So, I will challenge you with this.
Okay.
You take the Child's Play remake or the Wrong Turn remake. You turn off the idea that this is a Wrong Turn movie. Give it a different name. For me, Child's Play is Buddy, right?
Right. Agreed.
Tell me it's not an enjoyable movie. Because it is. If they called it anything other than Child's Play and hadn't made it a malfunctioning AI doll as opposed to a doll possessed by the spirit of a serial killer, which was the crux of the movie that you changed for no goddamn reason. But if you had just been, hey, this is Buddy, and you went in to go see a Buddy movie about a malfunctioning AI, it would have been a really fun movie and a really fun watch. If you can turn off the part of your brain that says Wrong Turn is inbred cannibals and this is supposed to be inbred cannibals and it's not, and you watch that movie, it's not a terrible movie. You just have to deal with the fact that they named it after something and then completely went the opposite direction of where it's going. Yeah. It's not a great movie. It's not a movie that I'm like, oh, I love. I don't own it. I own all of these terrible movies to own the franchise, and I did not buy the remake.
Okay.
A lot for what you said, but I have rewatched it, and I've gone in with that mindset of, okay, this is not going to be inbred cannibals, but can this still be fun? And it is still a movie of people out in the backwoods getting hunted and shit going on, and it's, especially compared to this, Sean, it's pretty fucking good. All right.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking good compared to this.
I've only seen it once. I never went back and did a rewatch of it. So eventually I will. So we can try to wrap up this with that. So eventually I will go back and rewatch it, and we'll try to do that because I get what you're saying. The Child's Play remake because I think honestly I've seen it 3 times. The first time I didn't like it at all. Tried to give it a rewatch and still didn't like it. And then later down the road, for some reason, someone was watching it and I watched it with them. And finally I was like, it's not Chucky, but it's okay. That, you know,
it's
Prom
kind of
Night's
a fun
another
movie,
franchise that did
Yeah.
the same bullshit. Like they made a Prom Night 2 and 3 that had nothing to do with the original. So that kind of shit happens. So I will try to keep that in mind whenever we get to that one, and try to be a little more open minded about it, because as bad as some of these movies are, going into doing this franchise, I already had in my head that remake is my least favorite. Now, after rewatching some of these, I may not feel that way.
You
So,
should, I listen. This should be at the bottom. We have 3 more movies to go.
yeah,
Besides the remake,
right.
this should be at the bottom of your list right now.
It probably should. You're probably well.
2, at least
What we've
2
watched
had
so
some
far,
famous
definitely.
faces.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
at least 2 had some recognizable faces. It had Henry Rollins. It
yeah,
had more inbred cannibals.
right.
Like it had some shit, right?
Yeah, 2 had some
It,
good things. Crystal Lowe, there were some good things about 2.
it tricked us on our final girl for a
You did.
second. You know, it
Yeah,
faked us out on our final girl, but in the end, like there were bits and pieces of that movie that I enjoyed. I had a
yeah,
good time,
right.
and we talked about that. That first kill happened. And I'm like, okay, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
it was
agree.
rough. It was a
Yeah, I
rough
think the
watch.
only character in this movie, we didn't really talk about her much because she's only in a couple of scenes. I think the only character that I really felt that bad for in this movie was Deputy Lane, because she
Yeah,
kind of seemed like she might be a badass when we first get introduced to her, and then later we see her in the car looking around, and then the final time we see her, she's barely still alive, naked, wrapped up in this razor wire. Looks pretty uncomfortable. So I felt
yeah.
bad for her. But again, we don't get enough about her to really care a whole lot either. So
And why was she naked?
that's why not at this point.
For shits and giggles, you
Yeah,
know.
pretty
We
much.
only had 1 pair of boobs in this movie. We needed
Yeah,
another naked
let's
girl.
throw in one more and put some razors around.
Yeah. No, this was rough, but that whole opinion I have is because I am a big fan of the new Evil Dead movies, and I see a lot of people still to this day with Evil Dead Burn coming out, just like, oh, this franchise sucks. This is terrible because it's not their Evil Dead, and I get that. Like, you want what you want. You
Right.
wanted Ash, but you weren't going to get Ash. You're never going to get an actor who's going to fill Ash's role as well as Bruce Campbell. So you
Right.
have to do something different. That
Yeah.
is not the case with Wrong Turn. You absolutely could have gone back to Inbred Cannibals. You 100% could have done that and just done a dumb fun movie.
Yeah.
But if you ignore that fact and you watch it, I watched the worst movie of my life with Will the other night. All right, it's called Killer Thong. It was terrible. We did a watch along for Getting Off, which is another thing we do randomly, where me
Yeah.
and Will sit down and we do a watch along and we do riff tracks to bad movies.
Okay.
And Killer Thong came across my algorithm, and I sent it to Will, and he's like, "When are we recording?" And I'm like, "How about this week?" And we recorded it, and we dropped it last Sunday, and that was the hardest movie I have ever had to sit through and finish.
Wow.
And
It's worse
we were
than the
watching it
Tire
live
movie?
during a recording. Worse than the Tire movie.
Wow. Okay.
Sean, this thing is almost no, it is unwatchable.
Damn.
It is so confusing and so fucking weird.
Okay.
And just I would watch Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey a million times before I ever sat down and watched Killer Thong again. And I thought the worst movie that I'd ever seen was Leprechaun the Beginning, or I
Origins.
think it's the beginning. Origins. No,
Maybe.
wait, which one is Origins the remake? Hold
It
on.
might have been.
There's
have to
one that
watch that
came out
again.
very, very recently. Leprechaun. What do we got? In the Hood 2 Returns. Yeah, no, it's The Beginning. It came out in 2025.
Okay.
And that was rough. There was a dude painted like a leprechaun, but only his face, not his hands. So his face was green, but his hands were still white. Like,
I don't think
and I'm
I've
like,
seen that one.
don't.
Okay.
Don't. Our watch-alongs are starting to become the don't watch-alongs is what
Got it.
we're calling them.
That's
Because
fair.
Killer Thong and Leprechaun in the Beginning were terrible fucking movies.
Okay.
Really bad. So this wasn't so bad. It could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Fair enough. All of that said, Matt, on the scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank Wrong Turn 3, Left 4 Dead?
All right, so I have decided that I'm going to rank these within the franchise, right? And I know where I had Wrong Turn originally. We reviewed it. I watched it on a day that was a bad day for me.
Right.
It didn't hit the way that I remembered. I gave it an okay-ish review. Now that we're at 3, I feel really bad about what I gave Wrong Turn 1. Wrong Turn 3, I'm going to give a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. Because, again, I'm going to rank it within the franchise. And so far, from what I've seen, this is the worst movie. And I could be wrong. I still have 3 movies to go. But I don't think it can get much worse than this. And from what I remember, I don't think it does get worse than this.
Yeah.
So this is getting a 1. I may retroactively have to go change Wrong Turn a little higher, a lot higher, depending on where we go.
Got it.
But yeah, no, this was a 1.
I think that's perfectly fair. It surprised me because I gave it a 2. I wrote down a 2, and felt bad about it. But I'm like, I just tried. I kept while I'm watching this, I'm thinking, maybe I can give it a 5. And then I'd watch a little bit, and I'm like, nope, it's probably going to be a 4. And then I'd watch a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, we're looking at a 3. And I finally, when I got to 2, I'm like, okay, I've seen worse. I'll give it a 2. But Matt's probably going to rank this higher than me. Not that I thought you would like it, but I figured 2's pretty bad. He's probably going to give it a 3 or a 4. So when you said 1, I was like, damn, okay, he didn't even like this better than that. So, but I'm with you. I understand completely.
9 times out of 10, Sean, I'll give it a bonus number, star, whatever, however you want to rank it, just for a little bit of nudity because I enjoy seeing boobs in movies. Sure. The 1 star is for the nudity, and that's all it got.
Fair enough. So we're looking at a half star without that.
Hold on. I will meet you at a 2 because I did say that the original kill was cool, and I did like the stuff with the tow truck and the use of the barbed wire in the tow truck. So 1 point for creativity there, and 1 point for nudity. I will meet you at a 2.
That's fair. 2. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at.
Nothing better get a 1. Nothing better get a 1. Nothing better be worse than this.
Yeah, we're going to hope not. If it is, this is just bad. But yeah, so that's where Matt and I land on Wrong Turn 3. Let me know. Leave me some comments and let me know what you think. Do you think this movie is as trash as we do? Or is there something about it that you actually enjoy? Let me know. I always hear other people's thoughts on what they think about these movies that I review. Before we wrap up and get off here, I know you talked about it at the beginning, but Matt, go ahead and take a few minutes again to talk about what you're working on and what might be coming up.
Yeah, like I said, guys, tune in for an album review if you're a fan of Ice Nine Kills or metal music or horror movies. Any of those things. Obviously, you're a fan of horror movies if you're here watching this. We are going over one of their albums, all based on horror movies. A bunch of different opinions from a bunch of different people. I personally will be ranking the movies based on whether or not the movie made or the song makes me feel the movie. If I feel it matches the tone of the movie, that's where my rankings for each song are going to go and whether I liked them or didn't like them. So Katie has her own criteria. Everyone has their own criteria for whether or not they enjoyed these songs and all of that. So that'll be a fun time. Trick or Trivia is right around the corner. So come join us for that. It's going to be a good time. It is all things Evil Dead. In honor of Kelly, who loves the original Evil Dead franchise, and me, who loves the remakes. And yeah, it's going to be all things Evil Dead. So it's gonna be a good time. Come check that out.
Who's on this Trick or Trivia episode? Who we got?
So Eric is maybe not because he has some stuff going on that weekend. But as of now, it will be KB. Okay. It will be Katie. Okay. It will be Brandy, who was on the last episode with Reek and Sarah. Okay. I haven't talked to Will yet because Will wasn't able to actually make it for his episode. So possibly Will and then Sarah. And then also maybe Eric. So we're looking at we did 4 on your episode and 3 on the next episode. So we're looking at 5 to 6 people on this episode possibly.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm vaguely familiar with everybody that you mentioned, but I know Sarah pretty well because Kelly and Sarah have been on my channel multiple times and I've got to be on their podcast once. So I'm going to wish Sarah the best of luck. Nothing against the rest of you. I just know her better. But it would be fun to have Kelly and Sarah there in the final. So I'm gonna hope Sarah can get it together.
Katie really wants to make the finals too. So
I can see. And you said, did she win once before? Was she a previous
she
winner?
was the winner the first year around. So it was interesting because Reek and I kind of got Katie into her love, I'll say, of horror, like really
Okay.
into she had seen horror movies, she liked Scream, she liked stuff like that, but like we had made her start watching franchises and do reviews with us and all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
really got her into the horror genre. And that's kind of what Katie Horror Showcase has been, is like, hey, you've never seen Children of the Corn. I feel like as a horror fan, that's something you should have at least seen once.
Right.
Oh, you hated that? Well, here's my favorite Children of the Corn. Here's number 4. Like, shit like that.
Right.
Um, and being that we mentored her, and then she went and beat Reek in the finals, become the first champion, and then lost to Kelly last year, was really interesting. So now she needs to qualify to come back, because she had a bye all last year till the finals, like Kelly had this year.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, no, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So yes, definitely go check out everything that Matt's got going on. Let me see what I have coming real quick. Next week, I have a episode. Well, I have 3 episodes coming next week, as always. The Psycho remake from 1998. I'll be talking about that. The movie The Nun. Mike from Mike and Serial will be on with me. We'll be discussing The Nun. I'll also be talking about Hungry, the new Hungry Hippo movie. I've got an episode on that coming next week. And then also on the 18th, live stream, live at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Me and Cece from Cece's Horror, as well as my friends Robbie and Kaylee from That Horror Couple. We will all be on live talking about Deep Blue Sea. So that'll be Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So,
I love Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. We're going to be talking about that live Tuesday. So a lot of fun stuff coming. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Follow me on social media. I'm on everything out there: Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, Letterboxd. Just search Sean's Horror Corner and you will be able to find it all. Matt will be back very soon to talk Wrong Turn 4. Until then, everybody, subscribe, like, comment, hype, do all the things you're supposed to do, and I will see you soon.